Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to set up your UDK and also show you how to set up a quick uh, level to work on it and create your um, uh, advanced material. Okay, and we'll do UDK 2011 and I have a version of UDK 2011 already set up and installed. I'll just show you where the files are to install your version of UDK, and after you install it, then I'll just use my own version of UDK and create a basic level. Next week we'll study. I'll show you how to essentially set up a big project from the scratch, and then we go further to the details of each of the components that we'll see from next week. So here is the empty web browser. I'm using Mozilla Firefox. So you go to UDK.com and you can go click on download December beta, or you can just click on download UDK. When you go to download UDK, you'll see a bunch of different versions that you can install. The latest release is UDK December. I believe that I have August or September, but you can install any of them. I actually recommend you install either September or October of 2011. Once you set and install your UDK, you will be looking at and open your Unreal Development Kit. You'll see something like this. Let me just go ahead and save my packages here. And when you set your UDK up, you will probably see something like this set up, and this is how a basic template for a midday project is set up. Okay, so I'll just show you a walkthrough of this view. It has a little box inside. In Unreal Development Kit, actually UDK got away with the subtractive geometry actually. Okay, so basically they got rid of subtractive geometry, and everything that you create in UDK is going to be additive geometry, and we'll talk about those a little bit later when we study the projects essentially. But to set up a basic project, you just open your Unreal and you click on New, and then you choose any of those views that or templates that it opened up, and you can set the system up, and basically it gives you a skylight and the sky mesh, and also the terrain, the basic terrain where you set up. Now I want to set up a blank map. To click on blank map here, and then it will basically set up an empty map for you. And if you're on the full screen, you can click on this little icon up here, and it shows you basically the other views. So in the orthographic views, which is the top view, this is the side view, this is the front view, and this is the top view of the scene. You can hold left or right click and then drag to pan, and scrolling up and down will zoom in and out of your view. And in the perspective view, if you drag left click up and down, you will move back and forth in the geometry, and you can rotate with the holding down the right click, right mouse, and dragging, and it will rotate. Now if you look at the left hand side, you'll see that you have the brushes here. There are different kinds of brushes, and then you have constructing solid geometry that you can create. You can create additive geometry, you can create subtractive geometry, or you can create Boolean geometries by intersect and de-intersect. I'll talk about details of those further. But to set up your first project, you create an empty project, okay, just a blank UDK map, and then you right click on the brushes, on the cube brush, and when you right click on the cube brush, I want you to set up a subtractive geometry. So what you will do is that you add a huge geometry and then you carve inside of it. So create a 10,000 by 10,000 by 10,000 brush, and when you create a 10,000 by 10,000 by 10,000 brush and click on build and then close, your CGS, your brush will be essentially a huge brush, just as you see here. And then click on the add geometry or CGS add and left click on it once, and it adds your constructive geometry, your huge chunk of the objects. Okay. Now we want to create a small room inside of this massive mountain, so to speak. So right click on the cube brush and then make it 1024 by 1024 by 1024. When you build, you see that you have now built a smaller brush inside of the big massive brush that you created. Okay, and so click on the brush and then click on subtractive geometry, and this creates a empty room. And as you see here, you can go in by left dragging and by right dragging you will rotate, and you can zoom in and out by scroll. Now click on unlit icon here on your perspective viewport, and here you will see that your geometry will be shown in an unlit mode, which means that you don't need to have a light to see inside of this room. So again, if for you to kind of see how this is set up, what I did is that I created a big massive additive geometry, like a big mountain, a big cube, and that's this blue box here, as you see. And then inside of it, I carved out with the subtractive geometry a smaller cube, which is the subtractive room that I created here. Now, the way that you can see this thing in your viewport, I showed you that you can click on the unlit mode, and this way your viewport would render inside of your geometry without having a light. If you click on the lit mode, you won't see anything because you don't have a light here. Okay. So now what I want you guys to do is to add a light in this room. To do that, you want to make sure that you are not on the game mode, because you see, if you're not, let me show you how to add a light. Right click somewhere in your room, and then from the pop-up menu, click on add actor. Move your mouse on add actor and then add light point. When you add light point, you'll see a light point added to your room, and it was outside the room, so you won't see anything. So you just need to move and hold left mouse button on the axis of the light, X, Y, and Z, and then you can move your light around in the room. And when you add your light here, you would see a light icon, and it shows you how the light is set up. If you notice up here, there's a little icon, and its name is G. It basically enables your game mode. If you click on the G and it's enabled, you see that it's active. Actors like lights and things that you don't see them in the level, they will be hidden from your view, and the viewport would essentially show you how actually things in the game would look like. If you disable the game mode, then you'll be able to see the actors that are essentially not also viewable in the game. So notice here in other viewports I added the light, and so to precisely set this light in, I can move the light around in side, front, and top viewport to kind of make it inside of in the middle of the room that I set up. And then you can click on F4 while your actor is selected, and that opens the property window of your light. And so you click on light component, point light component, radius is 1024. You can decrease the radius to say 512, and this decreases the radius of your light, and you can increase it 2048, and this increases the radius of the light, and it affects essentially how your light would look like. I will not go into the details of this light actor right now, but let's just play a little bit with this light actor. Just so I decrease the lighting radius to 512, and you see here the light essentially the radius is small, so it actually does not completely cover the entire room, so you can create spotlight effects and things like that with this light here. So let me just click on F4 and increase the lighting to 1024 again, the radius. You can change the light color, for example, here. Let's change it to some greenish light, and that will be it for the light component here. And so close the light window, and let's open up the view. And so here is how my first map or first level looks like. Now I would like to run this level and test it and see how it looks like. So the simplest way to test your level is to right click somewhere on the level and click on play. Let me just play without doing anything further by just adding the light and see how it plays. So if you click on right click on somewhere in the room and play the level, you'll see that it doesn't show anything, and of course because I didn't build my lightings and my paths, and so it doesn't really work. To build your project essentially, or to make your project work, as we discussed, you would have to make all of the engines to work together. So Unreal lets you build the lighting conditions and also build your geometry. So click on build geometry and it builds your geometry, and then you click on build lighting and it gives you a bunch of options. Uncheck the use light mask, that is for creating ambient lights for reflective surfaces and things. We don't have that in our level, so uncheck the use light mask, and let's build the BSP, build static meshes, and click OK, and this would run your static meshes. And I unchecked the warnings. If your warnings are checked, some of the warnings will show up, like for example maps not built with production lighting and all that warnings that for final productions you would have to take care of. So I uncheck the lightings, and also let's build the paths. And then if you build your lighting, make sure that you uncheck light mask, otherwise it will take forever to build your level, and then play from here. And so here, by right clicking, I'm playing the level, and as you see here, my level is built, and I can walk through this level with the mouse. You can look up and down, and by pressing escape you would get out of the player mode. And again, right and left click would allow you to rotate. By holding the left click and moving up and down, you can move your level in and out, and holding both clicks you can go up and down in the level, and by scrolling up and down you can scroll in and out or zoom in and out of your level. So So here's the first level that I created, and once you create this level, save this file and save your file as your first name and dash last name, and then save your file as a UDK file, and then you can attach that file as your first assignment and submit it to the Blackboard. Okay, this concludes our Unit 1 lecture. So go ahead and submit your assignments. Take your 2 surveys about what times are convenient for you to meet online, and also set up your first discussion. and also take the survey that asks you basic questions about what's your interest in this course, and in general your access to campuses and other kinds of basic informational questions. And we will set up a massive level, we take a bird's eye view of the entire Unreal Engine, and then we break down each of those components further. So with this, I'll finish up this week's material, and we'll see each other next week, and we discuss about more interesting stuff in UDK. Thank you very much. Bye.